When you're working in LunarVim, sometimes you install servers that require specific overrides. For example, I'm in a Svelte file and I'm also in a Go file. You'll see that I have specific LSPs and linters attached, but they're not actually attaching to the buffer, they're just installed. I have Golang CI Lint LS installed, Go PLS installed, Svelte installed, as well as ESLint installed, which doesn't show up here for some reason. All of those should be attaching to the buffer. I also have Tailwind CSS installed, but it didn't show right there. So if I head over to my attachment list, you'll see that Svelte and Null LS are attached. Copilot and Lua and Go PLS are not attached because those are in separate buffers. But if I head into my LunarVim config, Lua, Go, Svelte are attached, but you can see the servers that were skipped was Tailwind CSS because I don't think that Svelte matches the Tailwind CSS file type. ESLint is also giving us a bunch of errors if you look over here. This is not exactly supposed to happen. I'm not sure why, because ESLint for some reason doesn't think this project is a TypeScript project, but we can override that by going into our Lua config. You'll see that Go has the Go PLS installed, just in the bottom right corner. But if we go into the LunarVim config, Golang CI Lint LS is completely skipped. Let's go ahead into our config.lua. If you don't know how to get there, just do space, shift L, and then C. Now you see I've commented 3 options right here, and this is referring to the servers that we just mentioned. Tailwind CSS requires a custom override, or you can just specify the file types down below, which I can show as well. Golang CI Lint LS also requires the override, and ESLint is going to be fixing our ESLint project. So if I save this, exit LVim, and then go back in, we should receive the proper Golang CI Lint. If we actually go to our LSP attachment, you'll see that it's listed just fine, which means that it worked. So let's head over to our Svelte file, and you'll see that the ESLint files are gone. You'll still see that Tailwind CSS isn't installed, but if you go to your LSP buffer, you'll see Tailwind CSS is attached to the server now. Essentially, what else you can do is you can go where the formatters are defined. So for example, this is where the formatters are defined, and this prettier plugin was not installing on the right file type. So for example, I had to install on Svelte specifically because it was only working on these 4 file types, and it wasn't working on Svelte. So I can ask it to go on Svelte as well, on top of the other file types. Furthermore, ESLint wasn't mounting on Svelte correctly, even after I override it, so I had to specify Svelte as another server for it to automatically attach. Otherwise, you can attach it manually in the options I mentioned before.